Did you watch the Chernobyl HBO series?
Yes, quite good.
What were your thoughts on that? What stood out to you about the Chernobyl series?
Well, there was a couple of things that were just totally wrong. They showed a helicopter flying over the reactor, and the radiation was so intense that the helicopter pilot lost control and crashed. That didn't happen. Yes, it was radioactive, but it's not so radioactive that you can't fly over it in a helicopter and survive the flight. I mean, it doesn't radiation poisoning doesn't work that fast at that level. Uh, that was just something they wanted to use for the drama of it, but that didn't happen. And aside from that, it was pretty good. Especially, I liked the part where they wanted to use some German technology. They had these robots that could, you know, be sent to remove radioactive parts and put them in a box and ship them away. So they got this German company that was making robots that would work in high radiation. And the Germans asked, "Well, how much radiation is going to be there?" And they gave them, well, the official number, which is quite large. They said, "Well, that's very big, but we can handle it." And they put the robot at the reactor, and the robot immediately died, just stopped
Yeah.
working. And they say, "Why has that happened? We gave them uh, the radiation level." Said, "You idiot! We gave them the wrong radiation level. We gave them the radiation level we give to the public, not the real radiation level."
Yeah, we gave him a propaganda.
Yes, yes, and that's the way the Soviet Union, worked. There was the stuff that
Yeah.
you could tell people and stuff that you didn't tell people. But if
Yeah.
you're going to use that for a technical purpose, you got to use the real number. That didn't occur to them.
Yeah. What about the scene where the firefighters and the workers go on the roof of reactor 3 and they start their vision starts blurring. It's like an immediate obvious burning slash melting sensation that they're experiencing on the roof of reactor 3. Do you think something like that would have happened on the night of Chernobyl?
That happened.
Hmm.
That time, everything was severely radioactive. Uh, the thing hadn't been refueled in a long time. All of its fuel was radioactive. Everything about it was radioactive. It was blown all over the place. And they were in the top of the destroyed reactor trying to do something, and you can't just do that without dying. That was horrible. That
Hmm.
actually happened. In
Yeah.
fact, they lost, what, 75 people from radiation poisoning?
Something like that.
And
Yeah.
that was what caused it. Just using human beings and poor human beings can't survive. You can't do that. You have to find another way to get it gone. And the trouble is, they had to get rid of it as soon as possible, and you can't do that. It took decades to get that controlled, but that's the way you
Yeah.
had to do it.
So there's another part where the show suggests that an even more catastrophic explosion could have wiped out Europe if not for a last minute intervention. And I think that was when they sent in the worker, like the extra guys who were digging the tunnels, and they asked them if they wanted suits, and they said no, we'll just go in with our bare shirts. Like it doesn't matter at that point. And the operation was to prevent the molten core from reaching the underwater ground reservoirs. Was this a real possibility that if the core reached the water reservoirs that could have ignited a gigantic continent-wide explosion?
I think that was an exaggeration, to tell you the truth. Uh, I can understand that. being worried about that. I mean, this has never happened before, and there was a lot that had to be learned and learned quickly. But as far as that secondary explosion, nah, the trouble with the reactor was it was blown to pieces. It was all over the place. It was hundreds of feet away, and you couldn't really uh, establish a criticality or even a super hot uh, region because of uh, the extra heating of uranium after it's been run, because everything was so dispersed, everything was blown apart. You couldn't really get it together enough to
Mhm.
cause that kind of secondary problem.
Yeah. And the bridge of death scene where everyone gathers on the bridge in Pripyat to watch the reactor burning and the fires, hundreds of meters into the sky. And the implication in the show is that everyone standing at on that bridge is going to perish from radiation poisoning. Would that be accurate to you?
Not really, it's too far away. And also, it just starts with this white flash. It looks
Mm.
like an atomic bomb went off, and that was a bit of an exaggeration. But
What about the blue light after that? Is that realistic? I forget what it's called, like the Cherenkov radiation.
yes,
Is that something that
yeah,
actually happens?
that was lighting up the nitrogen in the sky from radiation. That happens.
Mm,
In fact, if you uh, remember in my book, every time a reactor blows up, it's a blue flash.
yeah.
That's the nitrogen going.